Okay. Washington, D.C. riots.
Washington, D.C. riots is very, very concerning to me because I saw a huge number of people, and I saw the streets of the Capitol. Washington, D.C. just doesn't have Pennsylvania Avenue and Capitol buildings and monuments, but it has housing and apartments like everywhere.
Right.
And I saw people in the streets, and they were spray painting our monuments.
The monument. Police have blocked off the roads leading to the monument, but we haven't seen any officers.
To Memorial Day in Lawrenceville in Pittsburgh, neighbors woke up to find this war memorial, as you see, covered in red paint.
Covered in spray paint. Take a look. This was cleaned just a few hours ago, but it's now covered in anti-racist messages, along with the names of people who protesters say were victims of police brutality.
You trust the police department?
Two NAACP leaders led away in cuffs, and the decision now facing city council. But demonstrators say now is the time for it to come down.
Protesters first threw paint on the statues, and then a band came out. Then protesters brought out the tools. They started chipping away at the Confederate monument, taking off the heads and setting some of the statues on fire.
Devastating. And I saw another interesting headline after that, and it said, the new Robin Hood, flash mob looting in rich neighborhoods.
I saw entire malls emptied of people, but also emptied of product, and the product is scattered everywhere as people would drop it, because they would carry out armloads in malls, and they would drop the stuff at the malls as they were running to the car. So this is going to escalate into true lawlessness.
Mayhem in Beverly Hills as looters storm the luxury clothing store Alexander McQueen and make off with thousands of dollars worth of goods. In upscale Santa Monica, devastating destruction as looters attack business after business.
Hey guys, you see this?
Extraordinary footage shows a woman using her body to try to stop looters, one armed with a hammer, from smashing their way into a sporting goods store. She's violently pulled away in this dramatic footage shot by Fox 11 in Los Angeles. Despite her efforts, looters make off with bicycles and backpacks. At Patagonia, they flee with surfboards. These looters make their getaway on a motorcycle. Bedlam at this van store. Looters pile out with shoeboxes. Watch this dude slip and fall. This guy grabs a shoebox, then tells a KCBS reporter why he's doing it.
People need to start chaos in order to make their point across.
Aerial shots show looters pouring out of Santa Monica Place Mall. One street over, I spotted people casually strolling with allegedly stolen goods. This guy proudly showed off his box to me. And this disturbing footage shows a man using an aerosol can to torch a San Bernardino DMV. Today, I'm getting an up-close look inside a CVS that's utterly trashed.
Oh my God!
A shopper cannot believe what she sees when she enters her local supermarket to buy groceries for her family.
This is sad. This is sad.
For 15 hours straight, looters have laid waste to the store. Some of them are still inside.
This is the problem.
Flash mobs are where they text people, and a large number are on their text, and they would show up at a certain location and do certain things. Like there's been flash mob dances, and so this is a flash mob looting. They would say on a certain day at a certain time, we're going to show up at a certain rich neighborhood, and what's theirs is ours.
Oh,
so they robbed the large houses of what they had and take their belongings and just destroy the house. They destroy the house.
I saw very well-off neighborhoods burnt to the ground, and all that was standing were in some houses, some were just the chimneys, the stone chimneys that were left standing of huge houses because of the riots and the mobs that swept through.
There's anger that's going to be erupting. Violence is going to be in the streets. Rich houses are going to be, neighborhoods are going to be invaded. What the Robin Hood mentality of what's yours is mine is going to spread. And all you're going to be seeing in multi-million-dollar neighborhoods is chimneys left standing and burnt chars of the houses.
Your mom so slow. Is her name Pepper or Doug? Whichever one it is, do
Violence is going to become so prevalent, police forces will not be able to take care of it, and even the military forces will only be able to take care of it in the urban areas and not the rural areas. And even all urban areas won't be able to be taken care of. It will be so widespread.
Did anyone call the police?
Numerous times.
What happened?
Nobody would come. And we were very distraught, my husband and I. It was a very helpless feeling.
The store was the lifeblood of the neighborhood in West Philadelphia.
This is your neighborhood ShopRite, where you eat, where you shop, where you get your food. I need somebody to please explain to me how this represents getting justice for George Floyd.
There will be many more reports of new financial corruption that are going to be uncovered, even in the months and years that lie ahead. Again, this is a long-range problem, not a short-term issue. There will be many more reports of new political corruption that is going to be uncovered at very high levels. In the religion field, Islam will try to force its way into our school systems. It'll start by demanding that they have time to pray, so they take prayer away from Christianity, but they allow the Islam factions the ability to do that. The day is going to come when Israel will hit Iran. They already have hit. There were mystery explosions that happened. And the Lord told me about this. He said, Israel will one day send in rockets into Iran. He said, but before that day happens, there will be other explosions that will be called mystery explosions.
There is growing speculation the United States and Israel are directly behind a series of unexplained explosions across Iran in recent weeks. The most notable of these blasts came last week at a uranium enrichment facility about 150 miles south of Tehran. This image shows just how extensive the damage was to that facility. In fact, experts believe the damage is even worse than pictures depict. While the most recent blast came this weekend in a wealthy residential neighborhood in Tehran. Welcome, Behnam. Great to see you. So put into perspective for us, if you will, just how big of a blow this explosion was to the uranium enrichment facility for Iran's nuclear program. And do you consider this a huge setback for the regime?
So if what is reported is correct and what open source analysts have assessed from afar is correct, that program, the production program for these machines, could have been impeded by about 1+ years.
What do you think's behind these mysterious explosions?
Well, there's actually in the last several months, there's been dozens of so-called accidents that the Iranians claim have been taking place, and largely they're explosions or fires. That is no longer a credible claim given the sheer numbers of them. And as you noted, just in the last couple of weeks, we've had a missile production plant that exploded. We had their advanced centrifuge plant, which exploded with an incredible fire, which literally destroyed the place and set the nuclear program back at least a year, Eric, or possibly 2. And then this week, there's been 2 other power plants that have had explosions and a chemical gas leak in another plant. I mean,
to do that. Islam, again, is going to begin to systematically work to control a government in some large city in America. I didn't see which one it is, but it could be Detroit, as they begin to mount a multiplication project. I'm not sure what the multiplication project means, but that's what I saw.
You know, we've been telling you all about France's no-go zones, hundreds of Muslim-controlled areas around Paris that outsiders and cops don't dare to explore. They chose just to give it up. We have them here in the United States, too. I bet you did not know that. Nearly 24 enclaves popping up across 9 different states. And watch what happens when a stranger or an outsider tries to step inside.
Have you on our land anymore? Come down there and you'll be arrested.
But your land is open to the public.
You'll be arrested if you come down.
I'm not being nice about it because I don't appreciate y'all. The way y'all came up here. Okay? Leave. Period. Leave. Period. Don't say another word.
Joining us right now, the man behind that camera, founder and president of the Christian Action Network and author of Twilight in America, the untold story of Islamic training camps in America. Martin Moyer joins us right now. Martin, what was taking place right there? Where were you?
Well, we were in Red House, Virginia. It's an isolated community, as most of these compounds are located in rural areas, heavily wooded, inside of the mountainous areas. And what we wanted to do was challenge their open invitation to actually come onto these compounds and see whether they were peaceful or not. So we brought our cameras, we tried to get on, and this is how we got treated.
It's a frightening thought, Islamic terrorist training camps right here in America in our backyards. The group Muslims of America, or Jamaat al-Fuqaha, as they're called in Pakistan, have established over 35 communities across the U.S. The group claims to be peaceful, but a videotape uncovered by the Christian Action Network shows that they can have a much more sinister side. The video, called The Soldiers of Allah, features Sheikh Mubarak Ali Ghanali, the mastermind and the leader of the group here in the U.S.
We are establishing training camps. You can reach us, at Roanoke University offices in upstate New York, or in Canada, or in Michigan, or in South Carolina, or in Pakistan, wherever we are, you can reach us.
The tape goes on to teach Ghalani's American followers tactics in guerrilla warfare, including scaling mountains, subduing enemies, murdering guards, hijacking cars, kidnapping, weapons training, and setting off explosives. Ghalani is a Pakistani national best known for allegedly setting up journalist Daniel Pearl in 2002. Pearl was on the way to meet with him when he was abducted and eventually gruesomely beheaded. Armed with the, quote, Soldier of Allah training video and a history of Ghalani's terrorist rhetoric, investigators went to several of the compounds to confront his followers.
You are a liar and you're a liar.
Don't say another word. Understand?
They were met with denial, hostility, and in some cases even violence.
Clearly looks like either knife holes or bullet holes.
And the question remains, why have these communities been left to flourish here in the U.S.? And is it only a matter of time before this anger spills on over into a violent incident? And Martin Moyer now joins us. 35 facilities in the U.S. Tell me this is not true, and how does this continue to exist?
Well, there's 35 compounds, villages, communities that Sheikh Jilani has inside the United States. They range anywhere from the east coast of York, South Carolina, to the west coast, Seattle, Washington, Hancock, New York, down to Texas.
Knowing the extremism that you're talking about, that he advocates here, and this is not in dispute, correct?
No, it's not in dispute.
Then why would the United States government allow these facilities to stay open?
Well, we spent 2.5 years investigating this group, and during that time we interviewed law enforcement about why these groups, why these facilities are allowed to exist in the United States. We got a host of reasons, but the number one reason is they are protected by the U.S. Constitution and they are protected by state constitutions in the United States. Really, law enforcement hands are tied in trying to shut these groups down.
Right. I want you to explain to our audience here, because you're describing this particular man, his involvement, you say, in the Daniel Pearl, beheading. How certain are you that every one of those compounds shares the radical views?
We went to 7 of these compounds. We had the Soldiers of Allah videotape, which your viewers just watched, and we said we're going to set out on a mission. We're going to visit the 7 compounds we were aware of and ask their leaders to watch this tape, either accept or reject Sheikh Jilani's call to be an Islamic guerrilla warfare training camp. None of them rejected that tape.
As joblessness increases and buildings lay empty, I saw malls that were more than half empty and stores that were closed, strip malls and other type of malls. rural land will become very valuable as people leave the city to seek the security of an urban lifestyle. People will start to grow their own food in some cities, and in one or two cities, I actually saw them trying to pull up the streets in order to try to grow food. Well, here in the Northwest, there's coming a volcanic eruption that's going to take place in a volcano in Washington State.
In Mount St. Helens or Mount?
It won't be Mount St. Helens, but that's all I can tell you. It probably begins with an R.
Okay. Okay.
And so that is going to make things pretty difficult in the Seattle area and around. There's also going to come earthquakes in the Vancouver area and in the Seattle area as well. So that